Fear is kind of a twofold mechanism. They can use it in various ways. They can present the concept of fear to the general population, the people who are asleep, who you would refer to as the sheeple or whatever. And they can use fear to present to these people, which provides the excuses they need to put up surveillance cameras everywhere and have drones hovering over football games and things now, which they're talking about doing here in Australia now, folks. If you're someone who goes to the football games in Australia, the police are now going to have surveillance drones equipped with facial recognition hovering above the football stadiums to keep an eye on everybody, just to keep you safe. That's what all this is about. So, the people will accept that because of the fear that's given to them by the government, and the people who are awake will see the drones, and then they will live in fear of the surveillance state. So either way, the people are put into fear of the situation. And a lot of people are failing to look past that. And as I said earlier, because of this fear, they're failing to enjoy their life. They're actually missing out on their lives. And and this is happening to an extent anyway through people who aren't even in fear, simply because of how much people immerse themselves in the virtual world, which is not a real world. It's a virtual world. They're missing out on the real life and the real life experience because they're immersed in this virtual world experience, which is not real. And that's how they control you as well, and they do that also through fear. Because once people are completely dependent upon the virtual world, then it's the fear of being locked out of the virtual world, which makes them comply with what the government wants. So, you can see how fear is used through all of this. But like I said, through it all, if you can simply enjoy your life and not comply with this, just see it for the farce that it is. That's the incredibly amazing part about all of this, is that all of the rules and regulations that control us are simply a fiction. It's just an idea that somebody had, and we all choose to go along with it. And all we've got to do is stop going along with it and choose to do something else, choose to live our lives, choose to actually experience what it means to be a human. Getting up and going to these slave jobs and doing all these things that people do. We only do it because we're caught in that grind, we're caught on that wheel, and once you get on that wheel, it's very difficult to step off. And that's why, even sometimes when I look at this and some of the information that I bring to people and some of the suggestions that I offer to people on this show, sometimes I can look at it and think, well, what's the point, Max? It's just hopeless because people can never step off the wheel. They just can't bring themselves to do it, to step off this economic wheel that they're caught on, this economic system that they're caught on. And that's the freaky part. Looking at this, you've got to be realistic. I can offer all these spiritual perspectives that I can and all the self-empowerment concepts that I can in the hope that it will help people and inspire people. But if they're not able to step off that economic wheel, then how do we address the situation from there? How do we change the world without really changing the system? And that's the thing. A lot of people are in fear of the government and they're in fear of what's coming, and they don't like the world to be the way it is. But at the same time, they're scared of anything else because it's better the devil you know, and they're scared to step off that treadmill, scared to step off that economic system and into reality because they need everybody else to do it with them. They don't want to step off the wheel and then just be left there and discarded on the side. And unfortunately, that's what happens to many people, and that's what will happen to many people. That's what would happen to the entire truth community if we all just stepped off the system. And even if they're 5 or 10% of the world's population, no matter how many we are, if we just step off the system and the other 90% are still on there, or they're going to drag us back in anyway, either that or would simply be discarded. So, it's a very, very tricky situation that we're in. And that's why you need to look at it kind of energetically and realize that a lot of what it's about is the energetic state that you're in, the energy that you hold. This is how I'm able to find my way through the system to the degree that I do, folks. It's how I'm able to live my life the way I do because I don't have any stake in the outcome of any of this. And I don't want for a lot. I don't want a lot of stuff. I don't need a lot of stuff. All I need is that which I need to survive. I don't need all the trappings that go with it. I don't need fancy houses and big front doors and fancy cars and designer shoes. I don't need any of this stuff. So, you find that the older you get and the more simple you live, the happier you are. The simpler you live, the less you find you actually need. Most of the stuff we've got is simply stuff that we bought because we thought it meant something, but we don't actually need any of it. That's another interesting thing. We seem to spend a lot of time in our lives going out of our way to collect stuff that we really don't need because we think it means something at the time. Then we get it and we go, well, isn't that great? Now I've got this, and it doesn't really mean anything at all. It's like, as I said, you go through life attempting to build this huge pile of junk to sit on, and you get through life and you climb to the top of the pile and you sit on it and you go, well, what was all that for? Because now I'm here, there's really nothing here. And you kind of miss out on yourself along the way. And that's what all this is designed to do, folks. That's even what all these ball games and football games and all these things people go to enjoy is about. They don't have to enjoy themselves. They don't have to find themselves. It will give you this external thing to go and enjoy, because you don't ever really get to look within. You just go where the flow goes and go where everybody else goes and become part of the throng and part of the crowd, because isn't that what it's all about? But it's all designated enjoyment activities, all designed to lead people away from themselves and give them stuff which is presented to them as fun, but really it's not. It's just a distraction from what life is really about. But what if you were to take time out and to just, even if you could just, got a few minutes, just take some time out and go and sit somewhere quiet, somewhere where you feel comfortable, somewhere where you can get that energy where you just feel like yourself, and ask yourself what it is that you really want to do. What is it that you have most wanted to do in your life? What is it that you would find the most enjoyment in doing in your life? Then ask yourself what it is in your life that is preventing you from doing that. And usually you're going to find that the limitations that you're putting on yourself that are preventing you from achieving this goal are usually limitations you've put on yourself. They're usually contrived. We sit there and we think, gee, I'd really like to do this, and then we start giving ourselves all the reasons we can't do it, rather than all the reasons why we can do it. Because we judge ourselves by external parameters. We judge ourselves by social parameters and external things that are given to us, and we measure ourselves according to all these guidelines that are given to us by other people and given to us by the system. We don't ever really look at things as we are. This is simply an earth that is populated by people. Most of the other stuff that we do is completely insignificant and contrived. Most of the jobs we've got, most of the things that people do in their everyday life are simply in order for them to obtain the paper that they need to pay to be alive. And that's how the slavery system works. That's why they removed all the free energy devices. When you start looking at history and Tartaria and all the stuff that it would appear that we had not so long ago, why would they remove the free energy from us? Because with free energy, we wouldn't be doing any of this. We wouldn't be running on the treadmill. We wouldn't be working these jobs. We wouldn't be mining and pulling the earth apart. We wouldn't be arguing with each other. We wouldn't be competing with each other. We wouldn't be doing any of this stuff if we did not need to pay for energy. It creates competition. It creates a situation whereby there can be no spiritual evolution for mankind. It creates a situation where people simply don't have time to discover themselves and discover what it really means to be here, what it really means to be human, what they are actually for, who they are. They just simply don't have time to do it because they've got to run around collecting the paper they need to pay for the energy they need to survive. We've got to pay for our fuel, pay to light our houses, pay for our food, pay to even put a roof over our heads. And very often, even if we need energy from someone else, we need to pay for their time. Go to a therapist or whatever, It's all this whole concept of time is money. We've put an economic value on almost every experience we have with people. And it's about to be moved to the next level with the whole social crediting system and everything they want to do with that as well. Soon, you won't even get real money for the time you spend with people. You'll just get credit points and behavior points for the time you spend with people. So, people will start doing good things for people, but they'll only be doing it because they want to serve themselves. And they'll be in fear of what will happen if they don't do good things for people. So where's the spiritual growth in that? Where's the spiritual evolution in that? Where is the humanity in that? You're not training people to be nice. You're penalizing them if they don't do what they're told. That's what you're doing. It's pretty dangerous where we're heading into, folks.